It's all absurd. Again, picks up that idea of Hevel as the absurdities of life, how things don't really make sense or flow on as you would expect, and it's all in the end kind of meaningless and a bit ridiculous. And this really comes out of where in Ecclesiastes, Kohelet is kind of looking hard and working hard really for stuff that just doesn't last. Everything seems to be temporary or ultimately disappointing, or you can't enjoy it permanently because you die and have to give it to someone else. That's one of his big frustrations. He has no personal concept of, leaving a legacy like we might have in our Western society. Instead, he just wants to hit pause on his life and be happy with everything that he has and never go anywhere or do anything. And one of his frustrations is that he knows even if he does that, he won't be happy. But he can't do that, and so he continues to accumulate things and try things and do things and never finds what he's looking for. And I think that's a universal experience. As humans, we have this infinite appetite for new things, for new experiences, for new desires, new people, whatever it is. We're always after that next thing, incapable of really sitting with something forever, for a permanent amount of time, a long amount of time even, and being satisfied by it. I think some of us do this better than others, but ultimately I think everybody gets restless if they were going to do the same thing every day for, 60, 70 years or whatever it is. And I think this speaks to the fact that only God is infinite and unknowable enough really to satisfy these desires that we have. Only He has revealed Himself enough that we can grasp some of Him, but is also simultaneously complex enough that we could get to know Him for all of eternity and continue to unravel His mysteries. Because everything else ultimately disappoints or degrades or hurts us in some way. And that includes us. You see, we are incapable of creating our own perfect closed system, but we're also incapable of really grasping God perfectly on our own. You see, we struggle, I think, because God is supposed to be infinitely satisfying and infinitely enjoyable and eternally enjoyable. But we drift in and out of this sense of satisfaction. We can't stay there. And that's not really God's fault, obviously. That's, I think, due to our own brokenness and our own issues that we tend to get distracted. We tend to drift the focus off of Him and want to put our ultimate hopes in something else for a little while that seems more promising or more exciting or whatever it is. But we naturally want to wander in and out of this feeling of satisfaction. And the challenge really of a life fighting against the absurdities of our existence is to keep that focus on Him and not work for things that are ultimately going to disappoint us, and not put those disappointing things out of their natural place, because they can be enjoyed as good gifts from God when they're kept as those small gifts from God. But as soon as they become ultimate things, then they become frustrating and poisonous really to our own happiness and health. So let's keep God as the main thing and embrace the challenge really to come back to Him as we drift away over the course of weeks or days or even minutes, for those of us like me who are very easily distracted.